Kindred Longevity Lifestyle Designers. This is Zach here with secretsoflongevity.com. So I just finished the book called Banana by Dan Koppel, and it is sort of a whole history and cultural explanation and look at how bananas have been cultivated over the last several hundred years, and why and how we have the banana today and where it's going from here on out. It's very interesting and very controversial history. Well, controversial in the sense that there's a lot of war, almost like war and killing and death that surrounds the creation of the fruit that everyone, or a lot of people, eat today in varying quantities. And specifically what I find interesting is that the fruit that people are eating today is barely 100 years old. Specifically, the Cavendish is not even 100 years old in terms of when it has been cultivated from various hybrids to become a hybrid itself. And that's sort of the main one in North America that's eaten. It's very bland, of course, sweet-tasting banana. And the one that was popular before that, that was all throughout North America, was, of course, the Gros Michel. And that one was much more flavorful and a little bit larger. Just as sweet, if not sweeter, but again, it was very highly hybridized as well. Barely came about 100 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. So basically we have all the sweetest, most edible seedless bananas that are around today are around 100 years old or a little over that. So these are not things we'd find in the wild. I know a lot of people know that. The ones found in the wild are generally starchy and with really big seeds. There are some, of course, some bananas that you can find in the wild now because they've been cultivated and altered to be sweet. So you can find them growing wild just because they've sort of been released from farms and gotten into the wild that way. So those, of course, are going to be not as hybridized as the ones most people are eating. But basically anyone, and I'm specifically pointing at the fruitarian community who eats large quantities of these cloned, sterile, unable to reproduce in the wild foods. And yes, there's sort of this idea that who cares if that's happening, we don't experience any negative side effects from this. But you do have to recognize that if you are consuming that as your primary staple food, or you just really like bananas, that it's a very unhealthy plant. Most experts are predicting that bananas are going to become, at least the sweet seedless cloned varieties, are going to go extinct within the next decade or two tops. And this is because there's been a raging battle for the last couple decades. Even 50 years ago, the Gros Michel was in big danger of disappearing, and it did. The Gros Michel's been extinct, and that's why they had to bring out this Cavendish, which is much less tasty, more bland banana. So it came about after the Gros Michel went extinct because of Panama disease, which is sort of a rotting mold / fungus that takes out the roots of banana trees. It took out the Gros Michel, and they thought the Cavendish would, at first, was it was created to be not hurt by Panama disease, but it is now being wiped out by this same thing, quite voraciously actually. Non-organic bananas, funny enough, stand a better chance against it because of the massive amounts of chemicals they can dump on them. And this obviously puts the workers at risk because these are very impoverished areas of the world that bananas are grown in. And certified organic bananas, I'm going to state, are perhaps the most biologically destructive crop that's being grown right now. So bananas are the 4th largest crop in the world. Not sure what percentage of that is organic bananas, but it's an extremely large food crop in terms of organics. And basically, because organics, they don't use the pesticides on them, as soon as Panama disease creeps in, and it happens very easily because workers track it in on their boots, can come in from animals, on the air, etc., and of course also through water and underground springs and whatnot. Because of this, every time an organic banana plantation is hit, they basically just have to burn it to the ground and start anew. And the way they do this when they start a new organic banana plantation is they try and build it far removed from mainstream plantations. So they'll do it way up in the jungle on the mountainside. They obviously can't get too high because it needs a certain elevation, but they have to do it way off in the jungle. And of course, these things plantations last anywhere from 5 to 10 years tops before they're hit again, sometimes even less than that. They only get a few crop cycles out of it. Then they have to burn it again, they have to go somewhere else. So organic bananas cause more forest destruction than pretty much any other crop because they have to change it so rapidly. And they can never go back to that location. They have to grow something else there because of the Panama disease will be in the soil there for a good long time. Hey, we'll get back to the main topic of this video in just one moment. I wanted to let you know, however, that if you're really enjoying this video, or perhaps you're a regular subscriber, and you'd like to see me continue making regular postings on this channel, Secrets of Longevity, or perhaps even increase the frequency of these postings, of these well-researched videos, and even the articles on my site, I would really appreciate any contribution you're able to make to support me through any of the affiliate links listed below. There's a menu bar that you simply click and it pops down. If you're watching this on another platform other than YouTube, you can double-click this video and it'll take you to YouTube, where you can then click this bar that will pop down to give you these links. So like I mentioned, there's affiliate links. These are all companies I highly recommend and purchase for myself, and I get a percentage of anything that you purchase through these links, and that obviously would support me. And then there's also a link to a donation page on my site where you can make a PayPal donation, and you can also set up a phone consultation if that's something you're interested in doing. So with that, we're going to get back to the video, and thank you for any support you're able to give to me. So whether you enjoy bananas or not, if you do, I'm not saying don't eat bananas, I'm just saying be aware that organic bananas are definitely the most destructive fruit, the most destructive plant you could be supporting in its growth. And it's not something I would recommend because it's also very devoid of nutrients. Yes, it's high in sugar, which is good for calories if you're an athlete, of course, wanting to burn that type of fuel. But other than that, it's got some potassium and various amounts of other things. But it's not a magnificent staple by any means. So make your staples out of more earth-friendly foods, and do the research on the bananas if you want. Learn about the history of how violent and horrible the banana industry has been. That may or may not reflect how you feel about it now. Just search Banana Republic online and really learn about this, because not many people know about it, but it's pretty eye-opening. I mean, whole workers were slaughtered for having the vague idea of starting unions in places like Costa Rica and other places in South America at the time when a lot of these big banana companies were becoming powerful many decades ago. So take that into consideration. Check out that book by Dan Koppel. And with that, take care and embrace life without limits.